Ang bawat isa sa atin, mapalalaki man o babae, ay inaasahang makapagtatapos ng pag-aaral, mag-aasawa at bubuo ng isang pamilya. Pero sa salaysay na aming ibabahagi sa inyo, ina ang naging kapalaran ng ating bida. Bagamat maganda ang naging takbo ng kanyang buhay, mayroon pa ring pagkakataon na umiilalim ang gulong ng tadhana. Pero hindi ito nangangahulugan na dapat na tayong sumuko at magparaya. Dahil kung minsay ito pa ang magdadala ng biyaya na hindi natin inaakala. Ito ay totoong kwento ng isa sa mga tinatawag nating single mom na kayang gawin ang lahat para lang sa kanyang anak. Mga manonood, ang ating episode ngayon ay tumatalakay sa isa sa mga masiselang issue na karaniwang tampok ay tayong mga kabataan. Ang bawat isa sa atin, mapalalaki man o babae, ay inaasahang makapagtatapos ng pag-aaral, mag-aasawa at bubuo ng isang pamilya. Pero sa salaysay na aming ibabahagi sa inyo, ina ang naging kapalaran ng ating bida. Bagamat maganda ang naging takbo ng kanyang buhay, mayroon pa ring pagkakataon na umiilalim ang gulong ng tadhana. Pero hindi ito nangangahulugan na dapat na tayong sumuko at magparaya. Dahil kung minsay ito pa ang magdadala ng biyaya na hindi natin inaakala. Ito ay totoong kwento ng isa sa mga tinatawag nating single mom na kayang gawin ang lahat para lang sa kanyang anak. Mga manonood, ang ating episode ngayon ay tumatalakay sa isa sa mga masiselang issue na karaniwang tampok ay tayong mga kabataan. Ito ay ang unprotected sex na karaniwang humahantong sa talamak na teenage pregnancy. Ako nga pala si Princess Nicole Lugod, ang inyong host para sa programang pinamagatang Your Life and Your Choice.
Hi, I'm Kathlyn Mae Cruz, and I have a story to share. Actually, it is a story about my friend, and I asked her for permission to share her experience. I know this story will give you a lesson and inspire you at the same time. So way back in grade 12, we were 17 years old and we were classmates. My friend Kate was an orphan. Her mom and dad died in a car accident, and she lives in her lola's house. While I have a happy and complete family, they support me in whatever I want to do. Until one day, Kate told me that she hasn't had her monthly period for almost 3 months. And she has a boyfriend. Her boyfriend was a tambay, basagulero, and mukhang walang pangarap sa buhay. I asked her if they had unprotected sex, and she said yes. At first, I was shocked because I know she's modest and won't do such thing. So we planned to buy a pregnancy test to assure if she's pregnant. While she's in cubicle, I heard her crying, which gives me a sign that it's positive. She didn't know what to do after knowing the result. Her boyfriend didn't want a responsibility in the child, so he dumped my best friend. Kate became depressed and attempted suicide several times, but I always saved her. Sabi niya sa akin, hindi daw niya alam kung paano niya palalakihin yung bata, lalo na't estudyante pa lang siya at walang trabaho. Galit din ang lola niya sa kanya. But I told her na I will help to all expenses since I have weekly allowance. Nung una ayaw niyang pumayag dahil nahihiya siya, pero napapayag ko rin dahil naaawa ako sa bata. While she was taking care of her baby, she sold beauty products, foods, clothes, and other items. And I continued to study and finish my college course in business management. As time passed, Kate raised her child on her own. And now, we are 25 years old, we are stakeholders in a company, a distributor, manufacturer of beauty products.
So, Miss Danica, what do you think is the consequences of having unprotected sex will be?
The consequences of unprotected sex are early pregnancy for young girls and getting HIV or AIDS. The consequences are extreme for girls, especially in young girls. They are the one who suffer more than boys in both mental and physical aspect. Physical, their organs are not matured enough to give birth, to undergo the process of pregnancy and labor. On the other hand, in mental aspect, girls will suffer in mental health. It will be affected since their relatives and also some her friends will ridicule her.
Then, how will these consequences affect your life now and in the future?
If I were in that situation now and thinking about how can I deal with those consequences, probably I would become responsible, disciplined to myself, and would accept the fact that I have to face it because I wanted it. So the better things to do is to become a responsible one for my responsibilities.
So, are you prepared to deal with the consequences and impact, and how will you deal with the consequences?
Those consequences gave me fear to engage with sexual intercourse activity because I'm just a student and I'm financially unstable to be prepared for parenthood and for the future. These consequences serves as reminder or a warning that I have to be prepared for the parenthood, that I have to be prepared to face those consequences and also how to handle them or those. And also, it also reminds me on how to avoid those diseases that we may get from sexual activity. For now, it's a no because just like what I said earlier, I'm just a student without job and enough money. So how can I support my education if I got HIV? How can I support the needs of my baby when I got pregnant? So I can say that I'm not still prepared.
So, according sa story or sa respond ni Miss Danica, hindi natin maikakaila na talaga namang mahirap na magpadalos-dalos when we are talking about our life decisions. So, especially sa mga unprepared sex, which leads to some events like teenage pregnancy or unfortunately contracted contagious disease like STI and HIV. So, adult and youth must join our hands and raise awareness. That's why we're here presenting to all of you this particular show. Youth from the audience can share their insight with us today. So let me randomly call selected students from any university and let them share or answer few of our questions here. So let us begin first with Mr. Elyzar Mata. So the question is, what did you learn from this exercise?
Good day everyone, and what I have realized upon listening to our guest story is the proper education regarding sex. We need to have a sex education in order for us to be more vigilant or to be more careful with our actions. Like what happened to the story, they didn't practice safe sex, so the result is her being pregnant and her boyfriend left her. So those are the circumstances that we don't want to face in our life. So we must be educated regarding this topic, and I think we are at the right age discussing this topic because we can now comprehend the sex education. We can now think that, oh, this is safe, this is the safe thing to do, so we must practice it, and that's all.
How about Miss Clarrisa? In your peer group, Do you know anyone who is pregnant? And what issue does this person face?
As far as I know, no one in my peer group is pregnant.
Next is Miss Nadine. Please share us your insight regarding this question. How can you deal with the consequences of unprotected sex?
Talking about the fact that unprotected sex is often resulting to unwanted pregnancy, maybe due to the lack of sex education or some other circumstances. Just imagine how hard it is giving birth at the age of 15 or 16, creating your own family financially unstable. Thinking about the burden and its effect to your mental condition while raising your child. It is not questionable if you turn mad and commit suicide. However, this issue, which interrelated to unwanted pregnancy, can be solved by acceptance. Accepting the fact that you already done it and taking responsibility to your action.
How about Mr. Elyzar again? How can you help a friend who is pregnant or has contracted a STI?
Good day, I'm Elyzar, and the advice that I can give if I have a friend that is pregnant is to take care of her health and also her baby's health, because taking care of her health means taking care of the baby. So also I will encourage her to do prenatal checkup to monitor the progress and the activity of the child inside her uterus. On the other hand, if I have a friend that has an STI, I will advise him or her to consult a doctor or an expert regarding his or her condition, because that is one of the most recommended thing to do when you have that kind of condition. So, of course, I will try to encourage him or her to lift up his or her spirit, enable for my friend to continue living. And that's all.
What a fruitful insight, students of NAUSD. Thank you, dear guests and viewers. With here, we can conclude this eventful show. Hopefully, you are clearly understand the importance of being prepared. Huwag muna basta-basta magpapadala sa bugso ng damdamin, ha? Be prepared and be safe. This is your host, Princess Nicole Lugod, here at Your Life, Your Choice.